Hey guys, and welcome to today's First Impressions video, the video game series in which we look at a recently released game and I give you my first thoughts and impressions on it. Today we're looking at Orbit Industries, which is a building, job completing mission simulator with a very high sci-fi theme. The idea is that you're in a space station and you build it out and add more nodules that you need in order to complete more jobs to make more money to get the main mission completed. It is very in-depth, it makes me feel stupid, and it is at the same time very good, and I could see myself getting lost in a game like this. It looks incredible, and I have cranked all of the settings up. Speaking of the settings, we will be looking at those shortly, and then I'll get into the gameplay and looking at all of the aspects. There are a few quality of life updates that they could add to this to make it a little better, but those are pretty subjective. So let's not waste any more time. Let's jump straight into the settings. Alright, settings then. I'm actually really impressed with this settings menu, considering it's largely like 2D or text-based screens like the actual settings menu itself. The fact that they've got so many graphical options and updates and a lot of game availability settings and accessibility settings and like stuff like that is really good to see. It would be nice if there was a colorblind mode though, I'm not gonna lie. There is a lot of color coding with this, and as a colorblind gamer and user, it's very difficult to tell what some of the things I'm supposed to do. Luckily, there are symbols on each of the items and nodules and stuff, which make it a little bit easier. But for me, definitely the most difficult part of this game is the wiring aspect, which we'll look at shortly. Outside of that, though, we have the display language. We've got the ESV and the ASL. These are two different viewpoints. You've got the I can't remember what they mean. One means exterior and one means like interior view, basically, where you can invert the axes if you so desire. Your video options, there are a lot here. You've got your screen, your frame rate, your HDR if you have a HDR monitor, quality, and then ray tracing. Interestingly enough, the ray tracing doesn't seem like it can be switched on until you've gone to Direct 3D 12, restarted the game, and then jump back in. I've not actually tried this game with ray tracing. I don't want to push it too far. I am using a 2060 with a Ryzen 7 3600X, so it should be okay. But with recording, I really don't want to push it. So, you've got your display, resolution, screen mode, upscale mode. I like the fact they've got this in as well. They've got your upscale screen percentage, VSync on or off, FPS limit. Looks like there's a lot of nodules here to choose from. HDR, like I said, and then your overall quality. I've gone with cinematic. I'm not sure I'm okay with games calling these like ultra graphics cinematic. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, but that's very subjective, but it can go all the way up here. And even though you've got your side scrollers, and I do prefer like a drop down menu, you can see how far you can go and it won't let you go beyond the highest setting, which is good. Then you've got your ray tracing options here as well. Audio settings. Now I've had to turn this down because it is very loud in my ear holes, and it does start it at master volume of 10. Interestingly enough, outside of that, everything else is set down to 7, and you can change the AI voice from female to male as well. This does have controller support, although honestly I can't see why you would want to use controller with this. It seems way too finicky, too many buttons with too many options, and your keyboard settings as well. Now, interestingly enough, it comes up with the control settings or the keyboard settings on the bottom to show you what buttons you need to press. One thing that they could really change to make this so much more friendly for users is to make those options clickable. Instead of just coming up with a tooltip, make it so I can click it to go where it is telling me to go, or instead of having to press the button it wants me to press, just to make things a bit more seamless and a bit more user friendly. That's the options. Let's jump into the gameplay and see what this game is all about. Alright, we are in the game. This is the exterior station view, or ESV, and as you can see we have a small station here with a couple of nodules added on. It doesn't really do a very good job of explaining how to make new modules when you hop on in, right? When you go through tutorial, it tells you briefly, but it doesn't really explain. What you got to do is you got to click on any of these nodules with these blue bits here. You can zoom in and it will show you where you can go from here, and you can make new nodules and what they cost, how long it's going to take, all that good stuff here. Before you make these willy-nilly though, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at your abstract system layout and your SMI. Now your SMI, your station overview and station management interface, is going to be where you see all the missions, contracts, research, all that stuff is going to be in here, and as you can see, some of them are invalid. The symbols down here, and as you can see, everything's color coded, which is why having a colorblind mode would be divine. It really would. I'm glad that there are symbols here, but honestly it doesn't really help a lot when you're looking at certain areas on the station. When you're looking at the missions and the research and the contracts and stuff, which is going to make you money, you've got certain criteria that you need to hit. Now I've only got one of these BCE stations, and that's already in use for the mission and the research, so I can't start this until I've accessed the complete one, right? The idea is that you go through each of these missions. As you go through each of the missions, you'll get paid in your credits, or you will, you'll continue your active mission and you can see its status. You're going to be looking at this screen a hell of a lot, so I hope you don't mind a lot of text-based gameplay. And basically the idea is that you've got to go through all of these to get the funds that you need to get the station upgrades that you require in order to do the overall main mission. Once that mission is completed, you'll then start again with a new mission. It really is that simple. That's really all there is to the game. When you do make a new node, you'll be taken to this view here, and this is where it gets really horrible and bad if you have color blindness, because you've got to link these wires together in order to make them work and make sure they're all connected in order to actually use them for your missions and your contracts. This is a problem because it doesn't really explain how this works. All it says is you've got to get them all connected. If you've got full color vision, that's not going to be a problem. For people like myself, it's hell, because this wire here and this wire here look like the same color, even though they're not. The way that you make a wire, it goes wherever it wants to go. It doesn't go in like a straight line or where you would expect it to go, and you can connect it to anything, anytime, anywhere, and you can disrupt previous connections as well as making connections less efficient and stuff like that. The less efficient it is, the more energy it's going to consume, the more you're going to have to build onto your station to make it worthwhile. A better tutorial for this system here would make this a lot easier to deal with and a lot more fun to play. Other than that, like, it looks incredible. Like, I can see all of the graphic options working really well here. The station looks incredible. The lighting looks fantastic. But you're not going to be looking at this screen enough to really warrant that amount of graphical processing power. So if you're on a lower end machine, don't worry about making the most of it or seeing everything that it has to offer, because you're really not going to be looking at this screen that often outside of maybe taking some screenshots. And that really is all there is to talk about with this game. There's a lot to do. There's a lot that you're going to get involved in, but there's not going to be a lot of action on the screen. It's going to be a lot of mission doing. It's going to be a lot of new node building and connecting up wires to make them work and trying to make more money over time. So there you are, guys. That is the game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This game actually released yesterday on the 21st, so do let me know in those comments down below what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.